JD Power, that perpetual thorn in the side of miscreant car makers everywhere, has released its 2021 Vehicle Dependability Study. And in related news, Electric Jesus is preparing the presidential suite of the Hyatt in hell for JD Power. Details next. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au, and I get new cars cheap for buyers here in Australia. The website for that, obviously, or you can just click the card that's up there now, dude. I double dead dingoes donger dare you. And dares don't get more significant than that around here. JD Power's dependability thing, okay? Doesn't the car industry just love it? Having its dirty laundry oxygenated independently in this manner. The Vehicle Dependability Study is a US market-specific thing, okay? But it's in its 32nd year now, and it has established considerable credibility. And it is relevant to us here in Shitsville, at least in the context of the brands that you can also buy here. And I do feel oddly validated by it this time around, frankly. The survey measures the number of problems per 100 vehicles, which in JD Power speak is called the PP100. And I am not actually going to Google that, and I suggest you refrain also, but if you do, remember to clear your internet browsing history before you die, which is, let's face it, good advice anyway. The PP100, which I will henceforth abbreviate to PP for kicks, is for 3-year-old vehicles, okay, over the past 12 months. So essentially, it's for problems that occurred in 2020 on vehicles that were new in 2018, kind of thing. The smaller the PP number, the less the inherent shitbox statistical propensity, although JD Power doesn't put it quite that way. The study covers 177 problems grouped into 8 major vehicle categories, and we will trash talk the dud brands in just a sec. They do love that, and especially Electric Jesus, who seems to have screwed the pooch on PP. But right now, for context, the JD PP categories are Infotainment and Nav, Powertrain, Exterior, Interior, Features, Controls and Displays, Driving Experience, HVAC, and Seats. Basically, they're all the critical areas in which that car of your dreams, which you were previously infatuated with, can go out and take a great steaming dump upon your previous attraction to it. A dude in a suit from JD Power said, "Today's 3-year-old vehicles are of higher quality and more dependable than in previous years. Most owners aren't experiencing their vehicles breaking down or falling apart, but for many, vehicle technology continues to function poorly or inconsistently." Said suit dude is Dave Sargent, the Global Automotive VP at JD. And I agree, dude. It's not much fun driving for 4 hours down the friggin' freeway with the Bluetooth dropping out randomly every 10 Ks or so on average, or some fault code that the dealership simply cannot extinguish after a trillion remedial cracks at it. I've had fun. This is not that. This kind of thing affects people, and it does so deeply. If an owner can't rely on a system to work as they expect, it is also considered a lack of dependability. It affects their overall view of the vehicle and their likelihood of staying loyal to their automaker. In the future, dependability will partially be determined by the ability to solve problems through vehicle updates and the avoidance of technology obsolescence. JD's Davo dude there, again with a message seemingly tailor-made for the likes of Mercedes-Benz. And here friggin' here, I say, tech in cars can be such a rear-end irritant, metaphorically. Automotive relationships are broken in the service department when apathy and incompetence collide. We've all seen that. Such a shame. I'm looking at you, Land Rover, Jeep, Alfa Romeo, Tesla, etc. However, looking at this in the context of the glass being half full, but As an engineer, I am compelled to inform you that the glass cannot be half full, nor may it be half empty. If the water's not forming a friggin' meniscus right on the top of the glass is simply over-designed and therefore inefficient. But if it were able to be half full, let's say, JD Power said that despite some recalcitrant shitboxery in the market, I'm paraphrasing, vehicle dependability had reached a new high this year. So that's positive. JD Dudes also added that US domestic shitboxes, and again, I'm paraphrasing, were less dependable than Asian brands. US brands have an average PP, which is such an unfortunate term, an average PP of 126 problems per 100 vehicles. Asian brands have a somewhat smaller PP of 115. And of those, Hyundai, Kia and Genesis managed a combined average PP of just 99. Those of you who doubt my assertion that Hyundai Kia is equal to, or in some cases has actually overtaken Japanese car makers, should note the JD Power numbers. PP 99 for Hyundai Kia Genesis, combined average, 118 for the Japanese, 131 for the Europeans. That's problems per 100 vehicles. Next time you fringe dwellers in the comments, and hey, you know who you are, next time you care to accuse me of being pro-South Korean cars or even biased, I would retort, yeah dude, I am quite biased. It matters. What really matters, of course, with bias is what informs that bias, dude. If it's a brown envelope full of cash under the table or a fat advertising contract or something, well, that's kind of bad, isn't it? But if I'm biased towards Asian brands generally because they're just a better deal for mainstream consumers based on objective data, anecdotal evidence, and corroborating studies such as this one we're talking about today, shoot me, dude. Guilty as frigging charged. I don't have any commercial relationship with any car maker, so there's that. If you would like to inflict a Volkswagen upon yourself, then hey, knock yourself out and I'll be happy to help. In particular, the Euro dependability result is fascinating. What you get, in my view, with a premium Euro car is cachet, not dependability. That's pretty clear. Certainly not better value unless you're spending more than $100,000 or something in Australia. Sometimes you might get superior driving dynamics, but not always. If you really think Euro cars are built better, you are living in the past. That's just a fantasy, dude. Lexus was the top performing luxury brand on dependability with a microscopic PP of just 81. Genesis was next on 102, then BMW on 108, with the three-pronged suppository, unsurprisingly perhaps, fighting something of a rearguard action with a PP of 122, and four-ringed Volkswagen not even really in the race on 127. Industry average 121. Mazda and Mitsubishi are both brands that I routinely recommend here in Australia. Mazda bang on average for PP at 121, and Mitsubishi just ahead of the PP curve on 116. Subaru slightly below average on 125, but Subaru is of course exceptionally good at customer care here in Australia. Also unsurprising was the large PP end of the field, proving quite possibly, once and for all, categorically, that size really does matter, although it's an inversely proportional PP relationship if you know what's good for you as a car buyer. You'll note the big jump in PP for the bottom 6 brands in the survey. Volkswagen with a nice fat PP of 163, Chrysler on 166, Jaguar from India with love, but not necessarily dependability again, with a PP of 186, virtually blocking out the sun. Alfa Romeo contributes quite a large PP, 196 to the survey. Almost the 2-for-1 defect diet meal deal right there. Yes, missed it by. Anyway, unsurprisingly, it was Land Rover, which took the JD Power 2021 Ron Jeremy Trophy, they don't call it that, with a brutally large PP of 244. That's massive, any way you look at it, I'd suggest. And that's without the inevitable bump from the new Defender, which we will almost certainly see reflected in the results in 2024. Speaking personally, I can't wait for that. Only one brand is missing from the big black and barking end of the JD dependability spectrum. My very good friends at Tesla. Yes. Who apparently still haven't figured out how to make a dependable car, despite a PE ratio of 1 billion to 1 or something, by virtue of market capitalisation that you can see from friggin' Mars, where there will be a million people living, if you believe the Messiah, by 2050. It's true. JD Power profiled Tesla for the first time this year in the study, entertainingly, and while the results might offend worshippers at the Church of Electric Jesus, they don't surprise me particularly. Let's not forget that even in China, humanity's last bastion of affordable mass production, that's being kind, even in China this year, 4 government regulatory agencies, the Ministries of Transportation, Industry, Cybersecurity and Emergency Management, have spearheaded a formal sit-down with Tesla to discuss, quote-unquote, quality issues. You know, it's time to have a good hard look at yourself, don't you? Good, long, hard friggin' look at yourself in the mirror and also at your production line when the Chinese government is prepared to accuse you publicly of poor quality manufacturing. That's all I'm saying here. It's a wake-up call for Tesla. Officially, Tesla doesn't fit the JD Power PP ranking criteria because the cult of Musk did not grant JD Power the authority to survey Tesla owners in 15 US states where these surveys would be required to qualify. And on this, JD Power says Tesla's score was calculated based on a robust sample of surveys from owners in the other 35 states. And that result was, frankly and predictably, terrible. With a substantial PP of 176, Tesla finds itself the rookie inelegantly sandwiched between Chrysler and Jaguar. That's a most unattractive three-way of chronic poor dependability that even someone such as myself, who prides himself on the robustness of his constitution, while talking about himself for some reason in the third person in the closing remarks, I do not know why and who scripted this shit. That's a trio of grotesquely oversized JD Power PPs from which even someone such as he must avert his eyes, lest he never fully frigging recover. Google JD Power 2021 Vehicle Dependability Study, and don't you dare say he didn't warn me.